Gasoline from salt water, free air conditioning, welding from a fan motor. 6 viral projects, millions of views, 0 working physics. Today, we're separating what's real from what's just clever editing. Let's go. Project 1. Gasoline from salt water. Salt, water, electricity, and boom! Fuel in a jar. That's the path to unlimited wealth and a Nobel Prize, right? Spoiler, it's a scam. This guy decided to stick it to big oil. Solar panel, electrolysis, condensation. Pours liquid into his lab setup and lights it up. Bright orange flame. Looks legit. But here's why this fails basic chemistry. Electrolysis of salt water gives you hydrogen and chlorine. That's it. But gasoline? That's hydrocarbons, chains of carbon and hydrogen. In a salt plus water system, there's no carbon. It doesn't materialize from thin air. Where'd it come from? The edit did. What's actually happening, the burner works on bubbling, running air through liquid to capture vapors, like a hookah pulling through water. A compressor pulls air through actual gasoline in the jar. Fuel vapors go through a water trap to the burner. The electrolysis setup? On camera, it looks scientific. In reality, it's pure decoration. The circus left town. The clowns stayed behind. Oh, and chlorine, that gas from World War I, is being released in a closed garage. 1 lungful and you're headed to the ER with pulmonary edema. Plus, the compressor is sucking a fuel-air mixture into its housing where sparks can form. You can guess what happens next. And here's the absurdity. This needs a wall outlet. Why not just plug in a hot plate? Need portable? Grab a propane canister. Verdict? Explosive. Useless. Toxic. Physics 1. Internet 0. Project 2. DIY air conditioner. Water pump, tubing, isobutane canister. Pump circulates gas. Tube frosts over. Fan blows cold air. Thermometer drops. Looks convincing. But here's where thermodynamics says no. A water pump isn't a compressor. The clearances are massive. It physically cannot compress gas back into liquid. Isobutane needs 3 to 4 bar of pressure to condense. Here's the rule. No compression, no refrigeration, period. Thermodynamics 101. Liquid evaporates, absorbs heat. That's cooling. Vapor compresses back to liquid, releases heat. That must happen elsewhere. Like rubbing alcohol on skin, evaporation feels cold, but that's a one-time effect. This pump can't complete the cycle. You only get cooling from the initial evaporation when filling from the canister. After that, the motor just heats the room. Hot and cold loops sit inches apart with no insulation. Even if it worked, it would heat the air exactly as much as it cooled it, plus motor heat. The energy balance is negative. Physics doesn't negotiate. And reminder, isobutane is flammable. The motor has brushes that spark. Real alternative? Plastic bottle, water, freezer. Put it in front of a fan. Actual cooling for a couple hours. With the money saved, buy ice cream. Physics 2. Internet 0. Project 3. Sharpening scissors with sand. Roll foil into a tube, add sand, cut through it. Looks logical? Sand is harder than steel. Scissors cut through the abrasive, blades contact hard grains. Should sharpen them, right? Here's the problem. Sand in the tube isn't fixed. Grains roll freely between the blades. Loose abrasive doesn't sharpen at a consistent angle. It impacts randomly. Result? The edge turns into a microscopic saw. You're creating dents and chips, not sharpening. The foil removes a few burrs, so scissors might cut slightly better temporarily. But after a few sharpenings, the edge is completely trashed and rolled over. Then you'll need serious regrinding or new scissors. Plus, abrasive dust gets into the pivot joint. Quartz works like lapping compound, wearing down the contact surfaces. What actually works? Whetstone, or the unglazed bottom of a ceramic mug. 5 strokes? Done. Leave the sand for the cats. Physics 3. Internet 0. Welding from an old fan motor. Sounds promising. Guy claims he struck gold in the trash. Recipe looks simple. Take a stator from a fan, cut off the factory copper, sell it for scrap. Do this a few times, buy a real welder. Could end there, but our author wraps 12 turns of 4mm squared wire on the stator. Then, key moment, puts the rotor on top, pulses current through it, and claims it's now a powerful permanent magnet. Assembles it on a board, spins it with a drill motor, strikes an arc, welds a steel pipe. The electrode melts metal. Arc looks powerful. But notice, the drill motor doesn't even change pitch, just keeps buzzing happily. Here's where physics leaves the room. The rotor of an induction motor is made from electrical steel. It's not a permanent magnet. It only magnetizes when an external field is present. Cut the power, the magnetization vanishes. Think of it like a colander under a faucet. Water flows through while the tap is on. Turn it off, empty. You can't charge a colander to hold water for later. Same with this rotor. You can't turn it into a permanent magnet with a current pulse. Classic theater. 6 1865 batteries deliver maybe 500 watts. Welding needs around 2 kilowatts. Where'd the extra 1500 watts come from? Short answer? Not from physics. Don't wreck your fans. A squirrel cage rotor won't become a magnet no matter how much you zap it. Need to weld? Buy a budget inverter for $50. Score? Physics 4, Internet 0. Project 5, Bevel Gearbox Nightmare. A masterclass in mechanical self-sabotage. Chain on a scooter is so last century. Dirt, grease, constant adjustments. Author decided his 110cc Yamaha desperately needs upgrades. Instead of a boring chain, he installs 2 bevel gearboxes, increasing power losses by 30%. The mating process is mind-blowing. He eyeballs a socket wrench head welded to the engine's output shaft. Rubber seals burn alive in the process. We're witnessing alignment by the close enough method. To fit the second gearbox, he cut a chunk out of the swing arm. Now the rear stiffness is comparable to overcooked spaghetti. Author spent money on parts and ultimately destroyed the motorcycle. Near the rider's leg, exposed universal joints spinning at high speed, no guard. Any piece of clothing caught in there instantly makes the owner part of the transmission. What fails first, the sketchy weld on the shaft or the rider's pant leg chewed up by the U-joint? Physics 5, Internet 0. And finally, the project that brought back memories of the legendary, indestructible Nokia. Let's see if myth is stronger than the laws of physics. The setup looks high-tech. Switching power supply, lithium battery, coaxial cable through USB. Author plugs it into the wall. TV shows HD digital channels. Now we're talking. Hold up. What actually works here is just the stub of cable in the USB port, acting as a basic wire antenna. Professional smoke and mirrors. But here's what matters. Now you won't fall for these tricks. You can't cheat physics. You can only hide it on camera until reality collects. If a DIY project promises something for nothing, get ready to pay with time, money, or health. Hit like if you don't let yourself get scammed. Comment which projects to debunk next.